Good morning, I'm Mary.
And I'm Carla.
And we're the Smiley Twins. And we are going to have a little bit shorter episode today, but we are going to, because
Mainly because it's aggressive.
Our kids are here.
That's true. Oh my goodness. Yes, darling.
So, we're going to, it'll be a little bit shorter. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so we are going to, we're going to try to start every episode, like I said last week, with some shout outs for our new patrons on our Patreon.
Yep.
I keep talking about it because I'm just really proud, and I don't mind to be super proud of the Patreon, because I think what we're putting out there is just so different and so amazing, and it is just really quality stuff from all sides of Medspa, and we are just really, I think it's the people that are getting on the feedback is amazing, and so really trying to tailor and customize it to people who get on. So our new patrons are Sarah M. We got a lot, which is great. Jamie B, Liliana B, Melissa N, Callie F, Verlisa G, Rebecca G, Shannon S, Courtney G,
Sarah H, Laura M,
Melody G. We got a lot of G's. Okay. Yeah, we're so grateful to you all for subscribing to our Patreon. While we try to give so much stuff for free and help as many people as we can, at some point everybody wants to make a little money, and we put so much time and effort into that Patreon. So thank you so much for supporting us, and as I always say, let us know what we can do to make it better and bring content that you want. Are they on? Is yours on?
No, it was not on.
Okay, so you probably couldn't hear Carla. She didn't really say anything important.
Did not have
Anyways,
anything about
so we're going to talk about kind of a touchy subject, which is good that it's short, because we will talk forever on...
This episode is basically called, not just lip service, medical aesthetics as a predatory environment, because...
Okay, that won't be the title,
yes,
but...
it is. It should be, because that's what it is. That's what it is. It is a up-and-coming, high-profit margin environment that people, everybody from an investor to a customer, literally everyone from your literal Botox client all the way to an investor, sees as an opportunity to take advantage of the profit margin and the environment. And
that's a very it's a wonderful
it's
industry. The darker side of the industry is that it's a lot. Is my hair okay?
You have to call out.
You looked at my hair like it wasn't okay. Is it okay?
It's fine now.
Okay.
You have to. It's not. I'm not being negative. Calling out the fact.
I'm not saying you're being negative. I'm just saying.
Of course, I didn't say
anything about
dark
side.
Didn't say there's anything about the environment that's not positive.
Ooh, it goes great with Halloween coming up.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so what do we mean by that? What we're going to run through is literally everything from how to kind of handle in some of the situations that happens with everybody from a client to potentially a staff member to a sales rep,
family and friends,
an investor if you're trying to raise money for your business, pretty much everything.
Yeah, we're going to try to go through it pretty quick.
A peer.
Yeah, there's no need to explain it. Once you get in the industry and especially when you become an entrepreneur in any field, but really very much so in medical aesthetics, people want the discounts, they want the free stuff, they see you starting your own business and...
Assume you're rich immediately.
Yeah, if you own a med spa, you must be rich, and they have no idea how much product costs and all that stuff. So that's the client and family and friend kind of side of it. And then all the people coming in trying to sell you stuff. They're medical sales reps for a reason, and medical sales reps are the top of the food chain when it comes to sales, and they're really good at what they do. And most of them have years of experience, and also most of them are amazing. I do not want to say that they are not, but
you're talking at a rate that's I'm
because I don't.
People have to follow what you're saying, and
you're not talking that. So medical sales reps are amazing. We don't want to say that they're not, but it's just some tips to some verbiage to use with them when they come in and offer the world. And then, we've raised money with Smiley, and so we had a few questions from the Patreon about raising money, and so we're just going to kind of center it all around that. So let's start with the easy one, like family and friends. When you start your business, and Carla speaks to this in her business hour in our training course, I'm not saying don't get your mom free Botox or anything. However, I'm going to let Carla say it best, because it's very simple and concise when you put it, how you put it, of giving family and friends discounts, because most of the time they simply don't understand.
Yeah, or it's just so easy to ask for that. What about a friend discount or your sister or whatever? And there's obviously time and room and place for that. And if you're garnering a new client, that's foreign to you completely, that's not a family member, then sure, using discounts, there's a place for discounts.
Yeah, our first time clients get $9 a unit their first
instead of 10. Yeah. So there's definitely a place for that when you're gardening client, but your immediate friends and family don't fall into that category for me.
But why? You do it. You say it so well.
So the example I always use is if someone comes in and it's your first client, and it's typically going to be a family member or a friend. Let's say your sister comes in and she asks you for a discount, and you're like, you know what? I'm going to do it $8 a unit because I'm discounting you, and you get 50 units, which would have been $10 a unit. That would have been $500, and now that's $420.
No, that's not good.
2 times 50. $2, $100. It would have been, now it's $400. Sorry.
She manages our money.
Yeah, it's scary.
Okay.
So now it's $400. That is literally, you just gave your sister the first $100 of profit of your business. So like, you know when people hold up that dollar and frame it, the first dollar you made, well, give it to your sister.
You gave it to your
Let
sis.
her frame it and put it in her business, in her bedroom.
Let her frame
she
it.
literally took your first dollar. And so I just don't understand why. And Mary's much kinder than me in this regard. That people ask, and and they're not thinking about it. I'm like, yeah, it's the first thing I think about. Let me not ask somebody for a friend or family who's starting a business. It's the first thing that crosses my mind is how can I support you? And maybe that's the entrepreneurial spirit that lives within me naturally, that doesn't live with everybody else. But I also just think it's kind of selfless and not selfish to just think about somebody else.
Yeah. Well,
first.
So then taking it a step further for not families, or in your friends or whoever on social media, seeing those posts in these girls groups that say, who does Botox and lip filler won't charge an arm and a leg?
Yeah, not trying to break the bank.
I'm like, what does that even mean? And like, what? So
who does hair? Don't want to break the bank.
It's like,
what is breaking the bank?
Yeah, and it's super subjective, and it's like, in my opinion, a lot of these service stuff is based on experience and you know,
schooling,
and how much school it took and how much training. And for medical aesthetics in particular, you're talking about medical providers that spent tens of thousands of dollars to, at the very least, go to nursing school, and then
a minimum 4 years.
And then additional training for the aesthetics. And then many of these providers, you know, like myself and Carla, have advanced degrees and are nurse practitioners or CRNAs or whatever. And it's just like, yeah, it cost me like literally well over $100,000 to be able to do what I'm doing and sitting right here. So
and you might
what
not
is
think
that
it's
worth
a big
to
deal
you?
because it takes 5 minutes, but that's just not. Yeah.
Yeah.
So the point is, your friends and family, immediate friends and family, don't give away. I'm just a big no on discounts because I just don't think that those people should be given discounts. And that's what I say to them. I'm like, why? I'm very nicely, but I'm like, oh, you want my first $50 in profit? And they'll literally be like, what? And I'm like, oh yeah, well, if I discount you off $10,
yeah, that's what I like that you say.
I'm literally giving you my first profit. I haven't even gotten started. And if you want me
when
to
you say it like that, what are they gonna say?
Yeah, what do you know how much it took for me to get here? Like between schooling and then just the training on the Botox, the supplies, this bottle of Botox in and of itself, how much it costs. Like, I'm just making my cost per unit go up and giving it to you, which I love you, but like, don't make me do that.
Yeah.
I mean, I can really put it on, lay it on thick. So, from discounts from that perspective, and it's going to happen. People are going to ask. And stay strong. Don't do it. You need every bit of that money. You're trying to get cash flow positive. Like, you need all that money to put back into your business or to do whatever it is that you set out to do to begin with.
Right. Okay. So let's move on to. I just love that the way that it's put that way. I've never strayed from that explanation. So let's move on to clients that are sitting in your actual chair. So, you know, and like Carla said, getting clients in the door, client retention is way more valuable than that first time client. So a discount for the first time client is a good thing, is a great thing, you know, to get them in the door, and then retaining them, the experience they have that first time is what is so important. You know, I wouldn't discount so far off your normal price that they're not going to come back because of that normal price. They'll go search for their next. But
and you will get hoppers, right? People who literally hop
just
from
fine for the
spa
discount.
to spa,
and that's and it is what it is.
Yeah.
But making sure that first experience, we can go. That's all a different conversation. Is amazing so that they come back. But the client sits in the chair, and okay, I'm going to be the client. Oh, my bills are due today, and oh my God, I just like
I'm pulling the Botox and lip filler
the 70 units. And
wants.
I've already got the lip filler, and the bills are due today, but my nails are done. And I mean, gosh, I got the grocery bills and the diapers for the baby. They're just so expensive, and all of a sudden, I'm putting the sob story on, and she's like any normal human, starting to feel a little guilty.
Especially as a nurse.
Yeah, the caring, compassion side of it comes out of it, where we have never had to worry about people's wallets in the hospital. We just do whatever they need, we do. And then in here, it's like you're just conditioned to
start caring.
care. And so they give this sob story, whether it's true or not. I'm not saying everybody gives a false story.
No.
But it's just none of your business. So what I like,
and you say it best, I'll give you back the same plug. In this regard, get your head out of their wallet. No matter what they're telling you.
You're supposed to let me say it if you give it back to me.
Oh. What? No,
I'll give it back to you. Oh. Just let me say it. I say it best. I'm just kidding.
I mean, this is what I'm dealing with. I know.
It's morning.
Adrian's over there
we
shaking
really
her head.
shouldn't record podcasts.
First thing in the morning.
Yeah, because my attention span, I'm literally like, ooh, my DAO Botox is kicking in. It feels weird.
Wow.
So
anyways, the client in the chair, Mary always says it, get your head out of their wallet. And you need to practice that in the front end. And it's not that you get colder as you go along, but it's literally when the client comes in and sits down, especially if they booked multiple services, or when you're starting to practice talking about other services, when you're doing a full face assessment and you in your head are like, boy, I mean, I see 10 syringes. I mean, this is going to be intense. Just go ahead and be like, head out of the wallet. I literally have to do it. Head out of the wallet. Head out of the wallet.
There's a lot of ways to do it. So, you make treatment plans and being very open and upfront and transparent about the money conversation. So, and I don't want to get too in the weeds about this, but with clients in the chair, I make my recommendations first, and I do their full face and body assessment, depending on what's in your med spa. Create their treatment plan first before a budget conversation is ever discussed.
And you have to be strong enough to push the budget conversation off, right? Because the first thing they're going to say is, okay, well, how much is that going to cost? It's like, well, let's finish our assessment.
Yeah, let's finish. Yeah, let's create. We can do a treatment plan. We have Cherry. There's different options you can do. And like I said, that's a different conversation. But I'm super big on make your treatment recommendation, make your treatment plan first and your recommendations, and then talk about budget and how much can we do safely first, and then money-wise in the conversation. Sure. But the main point of all of this is with a client is what she said, is take your mind out of their wallet. Heather Rippian is the one that gave me that line, and I absolutely love it, and I use it all the time now. And, you're just they're sitting in your chair, they're choosing to sit in your chair. So I get a really common question here of like, well, should I take their payment first after? And I'm like, you could make their treatment recommendation, decide what you're going to do that day, and then take payment and then render service. You totally could. We don't do that. We do have all of their information, email, cell phone, and their name and date of birth. Could it all be wrong? Yes. Do we check it against a driver's license? No. There are some things you can do to protect yourself if you really feel like your clientele but we just have not experienced a get served and don't pay client. It really has not happened.
I would also argue, you've seen signs and they can be funny, like in like our prices are what they are, and there's funny versions of that. Like some people really struggle with this. They really struggle with not bending over or giving in, or I'll just knock $50 off here and there, and it can really impact your business. I mean, there's other tactics you can take. Like, you could totally get a cute sign. Heck, ask ChatGPT to come up with it. A medical aesthetics, my price is my price sign. Literally, it could be a lot of things, and it's like, what? And then if you're like, oh, I don't want to do that, but why?
Yeah,
because you're already in the client's wallet. You're already worried of what people are going to think about your prices.
That could literally be like if you had a clipboard in the chair or a sign on the door. That could be like the top little page with a funny meme.
We don't negotiate.
Yeah, don't try to negotiate. We don't. Prices.
We're not negotiators. We're nurses or something. I mean, it can be.
I'm providing you.
ChatGPT will come up with that.
Yeah, I'm providing you medical service. It's not up for negotiation or discussion. And then there can be something cute, like she said. So there's a lot of things. Then we're talking about Allie and Allie Flash. All the rewards programs for Allergan and Galderma and all the things that you can really integrate. Yeah, but you're starting with your recommendation of what you recommend them, regardless of budget or any rewards or anything they get. And your just main point takeaway is you're being strong. And
we're not saying that if we have, they're going to get 2 syringes in each cheek and a syringe in their lips and a full face of Botox. I'm not saying there's not room to be like, if you want to do all that today, we can do it safely, compliantly. We'll bundle all that together and knock $500 off.
Yeah, sure. We have package deals.
Yes.
Yeah, memberships. There's so many ways
to. Just try to stick with what your package is. Buy 1 syringe, get the second for $250 off. Like, stick with that and then apply it across your treatment plan.
This makes me think that maybe next week, and it might end up being a shorter episode. Memberships.
We'll
go over
packages.
Yeah, we'll do stuff that we've done in our med spa, things we've heard and stuff. So we can go over that. We'll talk about that.
Yeah, that's a great
next
idea.
Week.
Okay, so the next kind of person
we want like reps, people that come in.
Yeah, I was going to say is medical sales reps. We've talked about this in a prior episode, so we'll keep this one a little bit short, but because I make fun of Mary, I can't help it. When we first started.
We didn't.
Yes,
I don't even know.
Everybody,
We were not
yes,
even in the
she
same.
was.
We were not even in the same city.
Everybody that came in,
Come here, honey.
Mary would call me
Miles.
after and be like, oh, 5 minutes. Okay. Everybody that came in, Mary would be like, OMG. Let me just,
Mommy,
this
little
little
show.
nugget. Hi, you little cutie.
Look at
Hi,
my
you little, you're not
little
supposed to be up here.
And
And Mary would be like,
hi to
oh
the
my
people.
gosh,
Stop
Carla,
that camera,
this
say
thing
hi.
is so amazing. And we did, in fact, go with a couple reps, and some worked out and some didn't in terms of what they were offering, regardless of what she says. But the point is, reps are going to come in and they are going to sell you the farm.
Right, and let me clarify really quick what I didn't forgot to say. I was in Knoxville and she was in Nashville. She really has no idea.
I'm going off the fact that you called me post these visits and you were very excited.
Carla, the only visit I recall calling you after was the exosomes that we now
She's
use
blocked
at
them out
every
of her
single
mind.
one of our
She's
med
blocked
spas,
them
and they're
out.
amazing.
I would
and
block
so,
them out too.
Okay. I'm
Anyways,
sorry I discussed with my business partner different business opportunities.
Medical sales reps will come in and they are very good at what they do. And now we've talked about relationships with them. We absolutely love them. You're probably being very loud on the microphone.
Okay, tell me, look at that little foot. You need to put.
Can you mute your microphone? We have limited time here. I love you.
Okay. Run back in there. Love you, baby.
And so they come in and they tell you, again, we'll be brief because we've said this before, you know, 4 clients and you'll pay this machine off, it's $100,000. Or people pay it off in, on average, less than 3 months. And it's like, okay, chill out. I would believe none of those things. And
you're the exception if that happens.
You literally start out, in my opinion, in the most conservative fashion. And if the payment's going to be $2,000 a month on some device, then you need to have that money and you need to be able to support that payment before you buy the device. And or if you're buying a device and the payment's $2,000 but one treatment is $2,000, okay, I'm not saying you can't say, I think I can get one client a month to cover this. Just make it very conservative and very reasonable because you're not going to pay off machines in 2.5 months. Unless you have a full-fledged 6-room med spa, 18 providers, and they all have a bunch of following. I mean, it's just very rare and it doesn't happen. So you just want to be very careful because all of this financing is going to have a personal guarantee. And so they just come in and they, all of us, especially when we're starting out, are super passionate. We love new technology as medical providers. We get really excited about something that's really cool. And you just want to be very careful because you hate to say they take advantage, but they do. They're sales reps for a reason and they get you to buy. Okay, then the last thing we're going to speak to is
there's snacks in that bag, in the pink bag.
is the population of people that has traditionally had the amount of money to invest in businesses. And I'm not going to call on any specific demographics, but it's the amount. There's a sub. Kirsten, is that fridge door open? Think you. Sorry. Squirrel.
Okay, and you literally talked to me about
it. Was open.
Well, but still.
So they're in general, the population of people who are coming into the medical aesthetics field, I want to say this politically correct, but also it just is what it is, are young nurses. And
well, there's nothing political about that. The fact of the matter is,
what I'm about to say after that. Mostly female. So I do think, and we have personally experienced a pretty highly predatory environment. And what does predatory mean? Predatory means that someone sees an opportunity to take advantage of a situation based on a lack of knowledge of the other party.
Or a perceived
lack of knowledge. So that's what predatory means. So you have young female nurses who most people know don't have any experience in business and taxes and any of that stuff. Don't, all the things. And so someone comes in and people ask us, what do you think is reasonable to give the medical director on the front end? 10%, 20% of the business? I'm like, what?
Well, I mean,
what are we talking about here? It can be, hang on, it can be a two-way street in the fact that, like, the other side, the physician has no idea either. They're kind of terrible business people most of the time. So it can be a two-way street.
Medical providers in general can be.
That's not a, predatory situation that someone's trying to take advantage. However, if you go to raise a formal round, I just highly encourage you, formal round of money, meaning like, I'm going to raise $500,000 because I want to buy 3 really cool machines or whatever the case is. I want to build a med spa. I don't care. Please seek out advice before you accept. Even if someone says, you know what, for 25% of your business, I'll give you $200,000. I mean, that is an $800,000 valuation. Do not be short-sighted. Do not let someone convince you. Get at least to other opinions. And this is where nurses and medical providers, we suck because we're not shoppers when it comes. We've never had to do that. I've said this before. In a hospital, we don't have to shop. We are given something, and typically the hospital, like, this is what you get. Here's the IV catheter you're going to use. This is not the case. Shop as in you have got to ask other people's opinions who know more about it. And I'm not talking about if you can find somebody else in that space, in venture capital, private equity, or a friend or family who's in stocks or something.
Well, I mean, here's the thing: if you're at the point where you're trying to raise money, including for that amount, any amount of money, if you're in the over the tens of thousands of dollars range, then an advisor.
Well, you may be doing it to start now. You may want to raise
well,
money starting
having
now.
an advisor is whether formal or not, or like she said, maybe you're lucky or fortunate enough to have somebody in your family that will advise you for free, or finding someone that you trust. I mean, it's quite the process, and it's really, reaching out to peers, finding someone who's done it before, i.e. us, for example, and even just asking for advice on what to look for, how to get started, and what to look for when you're starting.
Right.
Don't dive into that alone, Definitely don't think that maybe know more than the person. It just is something that should be outsourced in terms of like advice and with your peers.
The biggest advice I can give is desperation is the last emotion that should be happening when you go to raise money, because you're going to lead you down a very poor path. If you're desperate or you're failing, that is when you have to be the most careful.
Yes.
Doing it.
And it maybe might be the answer. It might be a matter of. I'm not sure, but it's probably not the answer if you're desperate.
I mean, there's too many scenarios and circumstances to go into when it comes to raising money about where you are, what you're trying to do. You may be in a fantastic spot, and that's why you're actually going to raise money, because you are ready. You're making money, but you're ready to pour gas on it, and so you're going to take.
Yeah, I mean, that was kind of us,
capital,
right?
Growth capital, so that you can just let everything grow, because you need more humans to do your business. Whatever the reason is, there's a million things. The point is, get multiple opinions. What you're valued at today, you need to be aware of what you think you're going to be in 6 months or a year. Those are projections. You need to have formal projections, because that helps you define what you're going to do down the road. There's just a million different things that go into it. So if you are not aware of some of these things, and Google is not enough. It is not enough to Google, how do I raise money for my business? No. You please get
it's not a Google.
advice.
Don't Google. I mean, we're gonna go down a path. Can RN own a med spa in Texas? Can RN own a med spa in
just had
Tennessee?
someone yesterday.
Please don't Google anything.
Say that
Nothing.
about Tennessee.
Yeah. Nothing about medicine
Yeah.
or medical aesthetics can be found. Literally, I'm gonna go ahead and say this.
You can learn
nothing.
a lot about raising money. There's some of that business stuff is out there.
Sure, there's probably a book of how to raise money for dummies.
Yeah,
but you
the
still need
point
somebody
is,
who's done it.
It is a lot to learn and a lot to know, and people will come after you, especially right now in this environment. Med spas are the sexiest investment right now.
They're
Everybody is
so
after
trendy.
It. Yep, there's M&A going on. There's mergers, acquisitions. There's people who want to use you for your knowledge and your medical aesthetics to open a practice, and they're going to pay for everything. And oh my gosh, you are the clinician. They have to have you.
You do not have to have them.
Yes, the reason we started Smiley was that so we didn't have nurses, honestly, medical providers taking advantage of in med spas, taking positions in med spas and making $50 an hour when they can make $2,000 on their own. That was our whole mission, and we still stand by it today.
And teaching them how to be entrepreneurs and do all of these things.
Yes.
And
So this is the next level. Like as we see some of our current injectors grow and get to points where they may want to fully open a brick and mortar or want to do something, like I just am so passionate about the next level, which is we do not know inherently how to raise money in general. Just because your husband or partner or spouse has a background in
come here.
A background
Finish your thought.
In marketing. Oh my gosh, you just need me. Just because your husband has or your partner or your wife has a background in business or marketing, that doesn't mean they know how to formally open a round. That doesn't mean they know how to go to bat. That doesn't mean they have the right personality to protect you in negotiations, because those people are also really good at what they do. And they're really good at convincing you why you need to give away half of your company. But I'm going to give you $500,000 for 50%. And that sounds so good right now, but that's half. You could be worth $5 million down the road, and you just gave away $2.5 million. Did you need that $500,000? Mm-hmm. And are they convincing you you need more than $10,000? You need $50,000. Mm-hmm. And I can't blah blah. Whatever the case is, get someone to help you. Get someone to really look at the money you need. Get formal projections, and just be very careful so that you don't give away too much. So.
Yeah.
I obviously get super passionate about it.
Yes, she does. I think that was the few topics we wanted to go over, and like I said, a short and sweet episode. Because the kids are here mainly. It was so funny yesterday. I was on the phone with Miles' school, telling me he had thrown up and he said his head hurt, his stomach hurt, while Jack's school was buzzing in twice in a row to tell me that he had explosive diarrhea. I was like,
this is a good day.
This is life.
This is a good day.
So,
this is being a mother.
Turns out I think they had a faulty breakfast.
Okay. FAQs. We had a couple come in. How did you know it was time to raise money? That again, a lot of these questions are difficult because there's so many circumstances and factors that go into play with each individual business. But for us in general, we were in a great spot, a high growth spot. We had some really, so raising money and investments, are you scalable? Do you have traction? Are you replicable? Those are some questions you should ask yourself. Do you have a business that if you put money into it, whether it was getting more humans, could you grow your revenue? So for an injector, it might be you and a single Medspa, and you're not using
3 rooms, 2 rooms.
You have 2 rooms and you're full through the day. Obviously your 3rd room is you need somebody. So maybe you don't have, in theory though, on some of these things, let's be careful because you should have enough revenue from your 2 rooms to support hiring that other person. So
it's more like maybe you're ready to open your second Medspa or your second location.
Exactly. So you're cash flowing positive, so for us, it's like, you're making you have money. So why do you need to raise money? Because you need more then you would want to stress your business to do so. And that's
or
where
like
we
you
were.
said, pour an amount that instead of it just increasing, or maybe one location, you're pouring we were pouring gasoline on a fire to scale nationwide.
Or another good one is you want to buy a machine that's $150,000, but the bank interest on it right now, prime is sitting at like 8.5%. But a family member will give you that $150, and you can do a loan structure with them, maybe some interest that's at 5%. That's a great example.
That is great.
You can make something better than what you can get from somewhere else. So there's times.
I'll speak to this one. We got a question about, do y'all utilize influencers? So, and this kind of goes into the discount thing, because what I wanted to say on this was about being careful about influencers coming in and saying, oh, if you give me free Botox, I'll give you a shout out or whatever. And without being in a contractual, really, it's that important to be in a contract with them or be in some sort of, the shout out comes before the treatment, whatever you want them to do comes before that treatment. Now, if they're going to shout out how well they were treated, sure, maybe they have to treat one area, and then they can truthfully and honestly say they've been treated, or do a more low service thing, a consultation. So warm and inviting. I'm so excited to get my first treatment.
And let them stream it live.
Yeah, streaming live.
Make it worth your while.
Make it worth your while, and don't let an influencer, because they have 30,000, 15,000, whatever, come in and sell you this. They do one story and you get nothing from it. So we are about to utilize influencers. I'll go ahead and say we're trying out Social Cat is the website that we're trying out, and we're going to see how that goes in the Nashville market. And yes, honey, I will get you some water in just a second. Okay, and that's good for today.
Wait, on influencers real quick. Yeah. I mean, some of the things you look for. How many followers do they have?
Oh, yes.
Remember, a full face of Botox for them is $640 at $10 a unit. That's a lot. That's a decent amount of money. Now, for some influencers, if you're watching this, you're like, no, it's not. But for the people that don't have that many followers, and you don't need somebody that's got a bajillion followers, right? Because they do a lot of influencing stuff. It's kind of that micro influencer you want to look for.
Yeah, and what are you looking for? Are you looking to grow engagement on your own social media, or are you actually looking for new clients? So considering that. And then one other thing for influencers is look at their engagement percentage.
Yes.
So I did a little research last night, and the average engagement percentage you want to see is 1 to 4%. And then the average...
And that's people engaging on their posts.
On the influencer's posts, yes. And then... At 170,000 followers, which is a lot, the average engagement was right at 4.79%. So that just gives you a good idea. You want to be in that 2 to 4% range with any influencer.
The reason being, if there's no engagement, then people can buy followers.
Did you buy your followers?
Yeah,
did you buy
because if no one's engaging, it's bots and just random. It's you're buying followers.
Engagement is social proof for their account.
You know, we'll end it on this. The whole thing goes back to doing your own research, getting advice from other people who have done it, because almost everybody has done a lot of the things we're talking about.
You're not doing anything new,
And just don't dive into anything because someone takes advantage and sells you something and you're excited and you want your business to grow.
Do your research.
That's what we're talking about.
Like you're buying a house, like you're buying a robot vacuum, like you're buying a Yeti cup. Do your research on what you want to do.
Inspection. Take your time on all of these things. They can impact you long term.
Okay, thanks for being patient with us on the kid thing. If that's annoying to you, sorry, it just is what it is. We got all 3 kids here today. This comes out on Sunday.
You have
3 or
another
4.
one.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I do have another one. Shit. Okay. Sundays at 10 a.m. Yeah. Sometimes I schedule them a lot of times for 9:30 just to be sure they're out at 10. But every Sunday we're doing this. So like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Share it, please, if you find it any types of valuable or whatever. And then I still like to put another plug in for Patreon. We're just Smiley Aesthetics on Patreon. I think it's patreon.com/SmileyAesthetics. And it's the same thing. You can subscribe or there's free content both, but we're really hoping to change the industry and give all the secrets away.
Yeah, and on this episode, if you have other questions about the stuff we talked about, because we did kind of fly through it, please reach out, because we can do a longer episode on some of these things like raising money or how to deal with sales reps and things like that, because there's good and bad to all of it. So, all right, thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Bye.